Every morning, millions of people around the world start their day with a cup of Starbucks. But behind this simple sip lies an entire industry, from coffee farms in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, to modern factories and cozy cafes across the globe. Today, we'll trace the journey of a coffee bean step by step. How it is grown, processed, transformed into a fragrant beverage, and finally reaches customers' hands. Starbucks doesn't buy coffee at random. The company selects farms with ideal conditions, specific altitudes, unique soil, stable temperature, and humidity. For example, beans from Colombia develop light fruity notes. In Ethiopia, they take on bright acidity and floral aromas. And in Indonesia, they form deep, earthy flavors. Farmers cultivate coffee trees for years. Each plant requires care, proper watering, protection from pests, and constant monitoring. When coffee cherries reach ripeness, they are picked by hand. This method allows farmers to select only the best, fully ripe fruits. Sometimes a single tree can carry berries of different ripeness, which is why manual labor remains key. In some regions, machines are used, but Starbucks relies heavily on hand-picking to ensure quality. Every basket is inspected. Unripe or damaged cherries are immediately set aside. Our two main methods. Dry method. Cherries are spread out under the sun and turned regularly. Over several weeks, they dry out, and the beans inside develop a rich, complex flavor with fruity notes. Wet method. Cherries are sent through water channels, where machines remove the pulp. The beans, still covered in a mucilaginous layer, are placed in fermentation tanks for 1 to 2 days. Natural enzymes break down the remaining pulp, giving the coffee a clean, bright taste. Afterward, the beans are washed and dried to a precise moisture level. The dried beans, known as parchment coffee, are put through sorting machines and manual inspection. They are graded by size, color, and density. Only clean, uniform, mature beans continue their journey. Next, they are hulled to remove the protective parchment layer and pressed into large 60 to 70 kilog sacks. In this form, coffee can be stored for years without losing quality. But Starbucks enforces strict logistics rules. Sacks are shipped under controlled conditions by land or sea. When green beans arrive at Starbucks roasting facilities, they undergo another round of inspection. Everything matters here: moisture content, shape, color, and aroma. Each batch receives a quality passport with details on country of origin, flavor profile, and intended roast level. At this stage, beans don't yet smell like coffee. They're dense, green, and almost odorless. The magic begins a little later. Inside massive plants stand industrial roasters, the machines that transform green beans into the brown, aromatic Starbucks coffee beans we all know. Temperatures reach 275 degrees C. Rotating drums ensure even heating. First, the beans turn yellow, then brown, expand in size, and release oils. Roasters, skilled specialists, monitor the process closely. They listen for the characteristic cracks, the first and second crack, which indicate stages of readiness. Even the smallest deviation can ruin an entire batch. For different varieties and beverages, Starbucks uses different roast levels. Light roast emphasizes fruity and floral notes. Medium roast, balance between smoothness and richness. Dark roast, bold flavors with hints of chocolate and caramel. Each batch is cooled instantly to stop the roasting process. If beans stay hot too long, they over-roast and lose their balance of flavor. After roasting, beans are transferred to industrial grinders, where they are milled to precise sizes. For espresso, a very fine grind is required, so pressurized water extracts a thick, creamy shot. For filter coffee, a medium grind is used. For French press, a coarse grind works best. Even a minor mistake can change the drink's taste, so Starbucks uses high-precision automated grinders that maintain a consistent particle size. The most delicate moment comes right after grinding. Both beans and ground coffee quickly lose their aroma. To preserve it, Starbucks uses vacuum packaging and nitrogen flushing, replacing oxygen with nitrogen to prevent oxidation. Bags are sealed within minutes of grinding. Labels indicate the roast date, roast level, and origin. Only then is the coffee ready for its journey to stores, cafes, and finally to the customers. After packaging, coffee is loaded into containers and shipped to different parts of the world. Some deliveries go by sea, others by air or truck. Starbucks has built a global network of distribution centers. They receive shipments, sort them by region, and send them on to cafes. At every stage, a tracking system is used. Each batch has its own code, which allows its journey to be traced from a farm in Colombia or Ethiopia to a warehouse and finally to a specific cafe. This ensures not only quality control, but also transparency. When coffee arrives at Starbucks cafes, a new chapter of its life begins. Baristas receive bags of beans or packages of ground coffee and check them against the accompanying documents. The main task is to preserve the aroma until brewing. That's why beans are stored in airtight containers, away from moisture and foreign odors. Even at this stage, baristas can already sense the distinctive aroma. Rich, complex, with notes of nuts, chocolate, or fruit, depending on the variety. Despite the industrial grinding at factories, many Starbucks drinks are prepared using freshly ground beans. Professional grinders are used to prepare coffee specifically for the chosen brewing method. For example, espresso requires a very fine, even grind. Filter or pour over uses a medium grind. French press needs a coarse grind. Baristas constantly adjust grinders, taking into account humidity, temperature, and even time of day, all of which influence flavor. Now begins what millions of people come to Starbucks for. Espresso machines, filter systems, and French presses turn ground coffee into beverages. Espresso, the base of most drinks. Pressurized water passes through finely ground beans, creating a thick, concentrated coffee with golden crema. Americano, espresso with added hot water. Cappuccino and latte, espresso with steamed milk foam, created with a steam wand. Baristas often decorate the surface with latte art. Filter coffee, a lighter, smoother brew, usually prepared in large batches. Each method highlights different flavor profiles, and baristas carefully monitor extraction time and water temperature. Starbucks is famous for going beyond classic recipes. Seasonal drinks often become cultural icons. For example, the pumpkin spice latte in autumn, or the frappuccino in summer. These creations use not only coffee, but also syrups, spices, whipped cream, chocolate, and caramel. Yet, at the core always lies the bean, the product that has traveled so far from the farm. The company has built a strict quality control system. Baristas are trained in special centers, tested, and regularly retrained. They are taught not only how to brew coffee, but also how to understand its origin, taste, and history. Every beverage is served according to strict standards, correct temperature, volume, and strength. Even small deviations are considered mistakes. At the end of its journey, coffee becomes the cup held by the customer. At that moment, all the stages come together: the work of farmers, factories, quality control, and barista craftsmanship. Each sip is the result of global cooperation and advanced processes. But most importantly, It brings people pleasure and energy every single day. The story of Starbucks is the story of how a simple bean became a global cultural symbol. From distant plantations to cafes in every city, the journey is built on a commitment to quality, sustainability, and unique flavor. Starbucks is more than just coffee. It is an experience, an atmosphere, and a culture that unites millions of people around the world.